All right, this is gonna be take one, although we're probably not gonna do more than one take. Hey guys, here we are in Foxhouse Studios doing an every dynamic mic shootout. Look at how many beautiful microphones we have here. Now, we do all of our own production here, so we're gonna put all of these microphones to the test. And if we didn't test your favorite microphone, just leave a really angry comment down below. I wanna see all those angry comments. I'm not sponsored or anything, like all of these I bought with my own money, but I just come with all of my own personal biases. If you wanna like skip past this yapping, just go to the end and then we're gonna do a compilation of Eric burping into every microphone.
Bonus burp out, yeah.
Bonus burp out. So, they already left, they're gone.
Oh, shit.
They're already watching your burps.
Wow,
They skipped the end. Anyways, so that'll be right here, somewhere here on the timeline. So I'm gonna just point arbitrarily and hopefully one of these fingers will like put you in the right direction. So our first microphone is the ubiquitous Shure SM57. All right, we're checking out the Shure SM57. Here's a quote from legendary producer Steve Albini about what he said. He's most famous for recording Nirvana's In Utero. It's a piece of shit dynamic microphone some people are inexplicably crazy about. Let's check out the data sheet here. Little presence peak there at 5K. Just a little cardioid pattern that gets pretty omnidirectional down low. Just your standard piece of shit dynamic. All right.
Let's test how it sounds with different proximity and directions. So here's really close. All right, now Andrew's gonna come sing some Nirvana for us.
Heart-shaped box.
I don't know that one. I'm so happy. 'Cause today this shitty mic is recording me. I don't know the words to anything from Nirvana. Oh yeah, baby.
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on. Now, this one is called the Shure SM58. Some people think it's like exactly the same as an SM57 and it's like a little similar, like almost exactly the same cartridge, but not the same. And it's got this, you know, this little ball thing that's supposed to stop the pops. The difference in design just makes it a little bit different. So, you know, it doesn't sound exactly the same. Let's check out the data sheet here. You know, you can see that it's a little bit less peaky at 5K, but, you know, more or less similar. It's got a pretty similar polar pattern. SM58. All right.
Just proximity again. Just
I'm gonna do exactly what he did. Don't fear him, no, don't say I don't even know the melody at all.
Okay, that was a fantastic test of this microphone. We've got the Shure SM7 here. Some people say this microphone has the same capsule, and no, it's a lot different. This is a lot nicer microphone. This was most famously used by Michael Jackson to record Thriller. Hi guys, I decided to pop in here while I was editing to say a few things that I missed about the SM7. Don't make fun of my chair. So, this one is not the same as the one used in Thriller. This is the Shure SM7B. Now, what does the B mean? What's the difference? And why did Shure update this microphone? The original SM7 was quite susceptible to radio and electromagnetic interference. If you were an old school radio jockey, they would teach you how to position it just so to cut down on hum from CRT monitors. It's kind of like if you're recording single coil guitars and you find the position that has the least amount of noise. So in 1999, Shure introduces the SM7A, one version before this, and they improved the humbucking filter to cut down on some of that unwanted noise. 2 years later, they made the SM7B, this one, and they added this extra large foam filter, but otherwise those two versions are the same. Now, the noise filtration seemed to make the mic slightly darker. And how much darker? Well, a lot of engineers seem to think you can punch a take with different versions and most people won't notice the difference. That's one of the good things about recording with dynamics is that you can EQ a lot in post and things will still sound natural. I would imagine you could add a shelf EQ to this one and get it to match an original one. Let's say you record in a Faraday cage and you have no problems with noise and you want the original, the one MJ used, and
no other version will suffice.
well, let's just go check out Reverb and see how much a vintage one's going for. Oh my. Well, this is just absurd. You can see that a lot of these are going for over $1,000. Now, these prices kind of deflate the original story which made this mic legendary. Michael Jackson's engineer had his pick of every expensive Neumann mic you could imagine, and he used this one to record. Now, is that because this is better than high quality condenser microphones? Well, no. But with the right voice and project, this microphone can outshine them. Now that's just a matter of this mic being kind of dark and MJ's voice being bright. But if you're paying Neumann prices for this mic, then it's no longer a value, and that's one of its big selling points. Generally, if a vintage mic exceeds its new equivalent in price, it's inflated by hype. The point is, try out different mics on your talent, and you might be surprised when you find a cheaper mic that works better for a particular voice or song. Sometimes I use multiple mics, and then I can blend the tonality in post and achieve something truly unique. All right, tangent over, and now let's get back to the shootout. See, there's a little presence peak and a filter. Pretty much just always leave the bass roll off and the presence peak on, unless you're like recording kick drum.
All right, now Andrew's gonna come and sing some Michael Jackson for us.
You got the
This one is a little less sensitive, so you want to make sure you got a lot of gain if you're just going to be talking into it. Maybe you want a little cloud lifter on that. Maybe you want to make sure you got a really nice preamp, or it might sound kind of bad. So just keep that in mind. Enough with the jokes, guys. We're on to another microphone. So this microphone's really weird. All right, this is an alien microphone. This is a deep cut. I almost can't find any information about it on the internet, but I've got to address something that has really pissed me off. People trying to charge $200 or more for this microphone. What are you doing, people? They're telling you it's the same capsule as the 409. You know what I'm talking about, Dan. They're trying to say this is like a 409 and charge $200 for it. Lies. Stop it, people. The data sheets, it's not the same frequency response, polar pattern, sensitivity level. It's not the same microphone at all. What this microphone is, it's a wireless lapel microphone from the 60s. This would go into a wireless transmitter belt pack, and then it would go into a receiver. And that's somebody would clip this to their tie. They'd look really cool with this fucking microphone hanging from the shirt. I mean, in the 60s, people were desperate, I guess, so this is the best they got. Point is, don't spend $200 on this microphone.
Now Andrew's gonna come sing Raise You Up. And I will raise you up.
Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight.
Hello. Okay. All right. We're on another mic. This is a microphone. Many people don't know this mic was Prince's live vocal mic in the 80s and 90s. And some people say that it's George Massenburg, some old engineer guy. He said it's his favorite snare mic. I used it on the snare. It was pretty cool. I found out about this mic diving way too deep in the rabbit hole of the internet. And most people know the 421. Maybe you know the 441. This is the 431. And I'm like, what is this? I saw this on some catalog, some 80s microphone catalog from Sennheiser, right? And I'm like, what is this mic? And it's listed in the price between the two. So I'm like, this is a more expensive mic than 421. What, people don't even value it at all. So I bought one, and it's kind of cool.
All right, and now Andrew's gonna sing some Prince for us. Maybe we'll party like it's 1999.
Doves Cry.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Little red Corvette.
Maybe a little, yeah, Raspberry Beret.
You don't have to be rich to rule my world. You don't have to be cool to be my girl. Ain't no particular time I'm more compatible with. Just what you're.
All right, well, you heard it here first, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you found it on that old catalog like I did. Yo, so this is a Sennheiser 441. This mic is most famously used by Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks, everybody. She used this mic a whole load in the 70s, singing into it live. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's kind of a large and goofy microphone to have live with you live, but to each your own, right? People love her, right? She's a real goat, and this mic is too. And this is my favorite dynamic mic probably of all time. And so I want to go back to those vintage Sennheiser price lists because there's something interesting. Like this microphone today now is $1,000. So it has been like really tracking with inflation, you know, because back in the 80s you could get it for like $400 something, you know, and it's made in Germany still, I think. I'm not sure if that's true. This is the little brothers, the 421 and the 431 to this mic. Now those ones have Mark II versions, okay? And a lot of people like dog on those and stuff, but I mean, I'm not going to assert that. I just can tell you that like if you keep up with inflation, those microphones would be $600 or $800 now. So they have to keep manufacturing costs down in some way. That's the reality. Now it's super expensive to make these.
Right now, Andrew's going to sing some Stevie Nicks for us, aren't you?
So we've been listening to it with it has a little presence peak that adds a little shelf on the top. It makes it brighter. That's great when you're recording vocals. Maybe you want to turn that off if you put on like a guitar cabinet or something, you know, but this is a very versatile mic. And this one is maybe about as sensitive as an SM57. In a lot of ways, it is basically an AKG SM57. Honestly, I haven't used it that much, but it has this cool little switch on the bottom, right? It says B, meaning bass, and the next one says M, medium, and the last one S, meaning sharp. So here, let's hear the medium. This is the medium, and this actually rolls off the bass a little bit and adds a little bit of a high end, something in the ballpark of an SM57 in shape. And then this one is sharp, and it's completely like a tilt towards the high end. It's very weird little microphone. I'm going to read some of the copy on this one. It's hilarious. The microphone for musicians and singers. Elegant, expensive styling. Excellent stage effect. The instrument for the singer. Remarkably little sensitivity to grip. Let's see if that's true. I don't know. I'm gripping it pretty good, and I hear a little bit of sensitivity. Mm-hmm. No feedback whistle, even at high volumes. All right, so let's put this back to medium mode, you know, because that's going to be a little bit closer to our control, and give it off to Eric.
All right, now Andrew's going to sing for us. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. And if your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, they're no friends of mine. As a pepperonis, I need the pepperonis.
This is an interesting little microphone. It sounds delightfully mediocre. This one,
Little hummy.
D224E, and that is absolutely something we're going to notice between these is how good is the hum rejection, because every microphone has a humbucking filter, or the good ones do. Try to cut down on some of that hum that sounds awful, and of course, if the microphone's more sensitive and it has higher gain, it's going to have lower self-noise, so that's just going to be a good thing. This microphone is not that sensitive, so it needs a lot of gain from the preamp. So this microphone, it has a two-way transducer in that it has a high frequency and a low frequency transducer. It's got a regular cardioid pattern and a really, really flat frequency response. So here's with the bass rolled off and with the bass flat. So we're going to listen to it flat because it's got a 3-position bass switch. 0, -7, -12 at 50 hertz. That's a pretty low bass roll off. That's weird. That's a weird bass roll off, just saying. Anyways, it's available in DIN and Canon connections. We got the Canon version. That's what the E means.
All right, now Andrew is gonna sing for us some Celine Dion.
Yeah, for wherever you are.
This is a weird little microphone. You can see that it has a lot of handling noise, so making it not very. You probably don't want to walk around on stage, and they're also really fragile. So maybe keep this one in the studio. And I mean, I bought this in college for like $100, and now they're selling for $650. So maybe just don't even use this. Maybe just put this in your gun safe and just keep it forever. Somebody calls it the best dynamic mic ever. I mean, it's okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool, but I don't know. Why is it making all those ghost noises? Is there a ghost in this mic?
It's like picking up if you flick on the wire. So how far does the flick pick up?
The whole cable. Okay, so just if you're gonna don't flick the cable with this mic. This mic is pretty famous. It's Electro-Voice RE20. Maybe you've heard of it. I don't know. So if you want to look at these cool vents on the side, the thing with these vents, it's Electro-Voice calls variable D. I don't know what that means. The point is to minimize proximity effect. You know, you can just kind of anywhere in this zone, it'll sound pretty even as far as the tonality goes. And that's great for if you have talent that doesn't like putting the mic close to their face.
Yeah.
Or maybe they like put it way too close to their face and they're weirdos like that. That's probably why this is a standard broadcast microphone is you got some guy and he's on the interview and he doesn't even want to like get close to the microphone. This is for him. You know, this microphone's probably going to be found in a studio. I don't know that you would use this one live on the vocal. It's kind of big.
It's bulky. It's bulgy.
It's bulgy.
It's a bulgy mic.
This is a bulging mic. It sounds pretty quiet as far as handling noise. That's pretty cool. Oh, I had the roll off. So here's it flat. This is the flat version. It's got a little bass roll off. I think 80 hertz. I don't know.
All right, now Andrew's gonna sing some Radiohead for us, aren't you, Andrew?
What's the most popular one that I'm thinking
Creep.
Creep.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell is going on? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Does this microphone work even? Wow, it sounds really terrible. But the reason I want to just look at this one real quick, I mean, this isn't a good microphone. This is some old Electro-Voice mic, but look, it's got them vents, dude. It's ribbed for pleasure.
It's not like one of those theremin things? Like
yeah, no, this is that.
Theremins?
You know, I was talking about that whole variable D.
D, it's all about
The variable D. This is the variable D right here. This is the early iteration of the variable D. I'm gonna show you another one. Look at this variable D.
Wow, it's a bigger D.
That's a real big D. This one's broken. Like the cables are just hanging out of it, so we can't listen to that one. But
Well, not with that attitude.
you see, these ones they just have the ports on one side, whereas the RE20 they did the dual ported design, which is probably better. Electro-Voice 660, so awesome. You don't want to tap on this one, or it sounds like a.
Was that like a captain's mic on a airplane?
Today we have
Is that the captain? That's how captain.
This is your captain speaking.
What flights are you on?
Taking off. Shit, I need a good captain line.
This is your captain speaking. We'll be taking off shortly. We had to taxi back to the loading bay because someone broke into the tarmac and is running naked. So we'll have to wait for the security to subdue the situation, and then we'll take off, to Hawaii shortly here. All right. Please remain seated. Keep your seatbelt fastened, and we'll pass out some pretzels and fizzy water.
So that's these old ass Eevee mics. Okay, we got a Beyerdynamic M88. I got a lot of Beyerdynamic microphones. A lot of them are kind of similar. A lot of them have hypercardioid patterns. They got those host-to-fan diaphragms, which is some polyester. It's like super thin and light, and it's what the capsule's made out of. Cool. Now, these are kind of like the Sennheiser mics that we're looking at, but They also have neodymium magnets, and they're pretty sensitive, so it's high sensitivity levels. I turned the pre down a little bit from those last ones we were looking at. These have these real cool vintage Beyer catalogs that I found. This one is presented as one of the highest quality studio musicians dynamic microphones that Beyer makes.
Now, Andrew's going to sing some Maroon 5 for us, aren't you, Andrew?
This love has taken its toll on me, and she said goodbye too many times before.
All right, now we have the M69. All right, nice. Make all your 69 jokes. Post nice in the comments below. Nice. M69. So very nice. All right, cool. Now that we got that out of the way. All right, and what's so great about this microphone, other than it's got a sex joke in the name, it's just built in there. It's presented as the little brother to the M88, and it's marketed as the same kind of studio musician microphone, but a little less expensive, since people don't know about it. Maybe you can find it used a little bit cheaper. In a lot of applications, I think it's better than an M88 because there's a lot less low-end emphasis. M88 is a little better for low-end things like bass and kick drum. This one seems to be better on voice. Maybe you want to use it as a live vocal mic. Maybe you want to use it as some other studio application. Hart used this microphone in the 70s a lot. You can see them singing it on Crazy on You, Barracuda, 69. Yeah, it pretty much looks exactly the same as an M88, but it has a slightly flatter grill on the top. That's the only way you can tell.
All right, now Andrew's going to sing some Heart for us, aren't you, Andrew?
I'm gonna go crazy over you. I'm gonna go crazy, crazy over you. I'm gonna go crazy, crazy over you. Ah. Is that the song?
And if we go back to those catalogs, you can see once again, right next to the M88, M69, right there, right next to it, right? M88, M69, right above it, right? Once again, M69, right next to the M88. Look at that. Look at that. Over here, it's half as much money. This is a Beyerdynamic M99. Now we're getting into some Beyerdynamic deep cuts, and they're already usually deep cuts, and they've been making microphones for like 100 years, so there's a lot of them out there. And this one they made for a very short amount of time, and it got discontinued. It's not even featured in any of those catalogs because it came about after the 80s. And so it has some EQ curves built into it. So far you've been listening to it on linear or flat mode. They really don't want you switching them yet. So now this is the bright mode, and damn, you can feel how it's crispy.
Blinding.
It is crispy bright. It's like cut your head off bright. And this mic also has a very pronounced proximity effect. As you can hear, it gets extremely bassy if you get really close. It's ridiculous bass. And obviously this is kind of intended as a podcasting radio microphone, so you probably don't want to use it live unless you're like using it on kick drum and stuff. And that's the other thing, is it has an EQ setting that's for kick drum. We're probably not going to use that because I'm not going to beatbox into it. Well, maybe I should.
Maybe you should.
Okay, that was good. M99 TGX. I don't know what the X is for. Maybe that's extreme.
Probably.
Because it's the early 2000s. Everything was kind of extreme then, right?
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about this microphone is how crazy the proximity effect is. Just nutty.
Is this back at normal linear? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on flat again.
All right, now Andrew is going to sing for us some Leonard Skinner.
And I'm free as a bird now.
Some guy on the internet said it's a good podcasting mic. I like it for kick drum. It's probably the best kick drum mic ever made. Unless you got one of those AKG D12 VR ones. Those are like $500. So this one's almost like $500 too. So I don't know. I don't think I think this one came about in the 70s catalog. You see that they don't have this one. They just have this other one that looks like a rip-off 57 right there. You see that one?
67.
60. They call it an M67. They're like grasping at straws.
They're like 57 now. We're 67.
Nah, we're one higher than that.
We're 10 fingers above that.
This microphone came about in the 70s catalog, as you can see here, and they call it a studio quality microphone. And it doesn't have a pop filter, so obviously it's geared more towards instruments and not vocals. Here we are just spitting and popping into it. Whatever. Come at me. Sue me. I don't care. Steve Albini, that guy we talked about before, he said, if the SM57 was a microphone, it would sound like this microphone. And for me, basically anywhere you'd use an SM57, this is probably just better. Put it on stuff.
All right. Now Andrew's going to sing some Smashing Pumpkins for us. Aren't you, Andrew?
Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage.
Is that the only line you know?
That's all I know.
Do it again, but not so...
Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage.
More angsty. More angsty. Not as happy.
Despite all my rage, I am still just a cat in a cage.
Less whiny.
I'm a cat now.
All right, this one appears very similar as the last microphone, but it's silver. What? What's going on here, guys?
What?
Here's an even weirder thing. It's clearly a Beyerdynamic mic, but it says Revox M3500. What's up with that? So basically, Revox was an analog tape company, right?
Okay.
And they were selling a microphone with their tape machines, and so they contracted Beyer to make the microphone for their tape machine. And so they said, hey, we need this to be super high quality dynamic microphone. And because it's tape recording, we got all this hiss to deal with, and the impedance is all weird. And so can you make it like a little bit brighter for us? And so that's what we have here. It's just a little bit brighter.
All right. Now Andrew is going to sing some Rammstein for us. Aren't you, Andrew?
Rammstein.
Du hast mich gefragt. Du hast mich gefragt. Du hast mich gefragt, als die Sternstadt. Ich bin das dein der Rockenstar, den Rockenstar. Oh, 9.
So this is a Beyer M400 or Soundstar Mark II, and there's a Soundstar Mark I. It looks a lot different than this microphone. I'm gonna put up a picture of it right here. This is like an Elvis Costello's mic. It kind of looks like a bastardized 421. This one just kind of looks like a 70s German 58, but it's hypercardioid, so maybe more like a Beta 58. But all the mics up until this point, except for that Revox one, because that one's a weird one, say TG written on them. This one does not. It is an N, and when you see the catalogs, they write N after the name. That just means Canon connector. They're just talking about the Canon, which means XLR. And in Germany, you know, that wasn't the standard. You know, they had these German connectors. So before they became the international standard, they didn't have the connector standardized. And you can see in this microphone, they have the little connector sticks out. It's a little flangey poo right there, right? So basically the difference is they standardized the connector. They got rid of that little flange. Now it's become flush. And so if you got an N version of this microphone, it would just have a little thing sticking out. I think when they went to the TG, they also increased the sensitivity by changing it to neodymium magnets and stuff. But for the most part, they're just the same. And they made the head baskets a little stronger. These silver head baskets are made out of stainless steel, and they can get dented pretty easily. Whereas these other ones are made of brass, and they just coat them with black, and they're pretty strong. So you can see if you find old versions of these mics, the head baskets are usually pretty beat up. So, you know, buy a TG version and save yourself the headache of breaking a rare mic.
Andrew is going to sing Nothing Else Matters by Metallica now for us. Aren't you, Andrew?
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. I thank you very much for setting me free. I'm saying domo, domo.
So this microphone was discontinued shortly after they came out with a TG version. So there is a TG version that exists somewhere. I just don't have one. They're kind of hard to find. There's a lot more of these old ass 70s ones, and they're kind of fun. So this is the Beyerdynamic M700. The numbers are getting so high now, you guys. Let's bring up that 80s catalog again. If you look at these two microphones, you see the M600, the Soundstar Mark III. So we're talking about one more mark than the last microphone we were just checking out, right? And they added two more of the hundreds of M's. I just wanted you to look, Eric, polar pattern wise, frequency plot wise, the plots are like so close, it looks like they could be a matching pair. And the sensitivity, exactly the same side attenuation, same exact polar pattern, like everything is the same. Dynamic unidirectional microphone, hypercardioid polar pattern, represents a new generation of Beyerdynamic stage microphones. Very rugged design of the brass mesh basket. So that's what I was talking about. So this is actually a brass coated mesh basket. So I kind of have this theory that they just decided to take this other microphone and then say we made a ruggedized version when they were coming out with the TG versions of the microphones. Like this was like the prototype is what I'm thinking. This is the only microphone in this entire catalog that has that black styling. And then like after a couple more years later, they were like everything turned into the black microphones. And then they came out with the TG stuff. You can see that it's still called the N, right? They have the models here, the C version and the N version, meaning Canon, right? I'm going to guess that the TG version and the N version of these mics are only different in terms of badging. This is already TGized.
All right, now Andrew's going to sing Closing Time by Semisonic for us. Aren't you, Andrew?
Closing time. One last call for alcohol, so give me a whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
No, you can't. We made it, you guys. We talked through a lot of microphones. Thanks for sticking with me. Going through this tour of every dynamic microphone we have. Some of them are my favorite sleeper microphones. These ones, freaking awesome. This mic is freaking awesome. I have some ribbons. I didn't use any ribbon microphones, even though I guess that could be considered a dynamic microphone. So if you want to get angry at me, just like leave me a super angry comment. But if you want to see another video about maybe some condensers and some other weird specialty microphones, let me know about that. We might make a part 2.
Yeah.
If this gets 5,000 likes.
5 million likes.
5 million likes.
We'll make a part 2.
We'll make a part 2.
Tickle the like and poke the subscribe. Fondle the subscribe. Punch that like. Kick that subscribe. And then just like suplex that like.
And now you're gonna hear Eric burp through every microphone, and that's gonna be your like shootout or something.
Bonus,
I don't know.
bonus burp out.
So until next time, peace out!